My name is Yasutaro Sato. My life is that of one full of regret, abuse, more regret, and something about a coin. Anyway, I was raised by my grandfather, Oscar Joaquin de la Rosa, in a country that may or may not have been Mexico. I then ended up in Japan for some reason, attended a high school, and then met Ichigo Kurosaki. I then discovered I had latent powers hidden within me. Powers that awoke because of my strong will. Wait, actually no, I think it was because of the Hogyoku. Or wait, no, was it a Fullbring? You know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I had powers to punch shit really hard in the face. Anyway, I used this power to combat Hollows and help Ichigo out as much as I could. Which wasn't really much, actually, now that you think about it. But I got even stronger, and then we went to Wakamundo, and I also got the shit kicked out of me there. But here I am right now, standing in God's palace against the final enemy, Ywach, the leader of the Quincy's. We're facing down our former friend, Uryu Ishida, trying to bring him back to the light. And now it's my turn, Yasutaro Sato, the person that will end this whole war right now with his right arm. Here I go. This is my moment.
Chad, you haven't moved this entire time.
Shut the fuck up, Orihime! I'm trying to think of the perfect battle strategy, okay? We can't take this guy on lightly now.
Why don't you just run up and punch him in the face? That's what you always do. And besides, don't you have hollow powers? Like, wouldn't that do, like, double damage because they're Quincy's?
Yeah, I know, I thought about that too, but that's exactly what they'll be expecting me to do. So I have to use a special technique just for this one occasion. Yeah, I have no idea who you are. And I literally have the power to know who everyone is. Your unimportance has literally transcended to a god level.
Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 620 entitled, Where Do You Stand? In case you're curious where I stand, I'm registered independent, I'm pro-choice, I'm an atheist, and this dress is definitely black and blue. So, chapter continues where we left off, where we had Ywach grabbing the Mimi Hage by its head, or hand, or eye, or whatever the fuck, whatever that is, and just begins to rip it off the Soul King, and since it's tethered to Ukitake in the Soul Society, that basically means that he's, ripping apart the Cocoon Palace in the process. So that shit's now falling down like the world's largest Jenga puzzle, as we see Ganju, Chad, and Orihime about to fall down as well.
These pitiful life forms are all gonna fall to their deaths. Luckily, I have my bolt-standing wings. Where the fuck did my wings go?
Yeah, I love that. Prandina makes, no effort to even, compose itself. I mean, we've seen that it can have wings because of its volt standing. We've seen that before. And here, it just, doesn't even make any attempt to move. It's maybe it doesn't have any arms. I don't know. It just kind of falls down just like a ragdoll or something. And yeah, by the way, I know I'm pronouncing Prandina wrong. Maybe it's Pernida or Pernita. I don't care. You know who I'm talking about. If it's that big of a distraction, then, go watch somebody else. But, whatever. The whole crumbling of the palace doesn't seem to affect Uryu, though, who just kind of jumps directly in front of Yuha and the Soul King, does an epic pose, and Ichigo just stares at him once more, stating, Ishida. Okay, now, here's kind of a nitpick, but I just find it hilarious, okay? In terms of continuity, at the end of the last chapter, you may recall it ended with this panel, with Ichigo shouting at the top of his lungs, Ishida! Now, this chapter picks up pretty much right after that scene. Maybe a minute or so, maybe just a couple seconds after this scene. So, then we have Ichigo here also saying Ishida in a much more calm and controlled way, and it's clearly two different scenes because he has different facial expressions. The way I'm looking at this is basically Ichigo shouts at the top of his lungs, Ishida! Ishida. It just doesn't make, it's just funny to me that that's all he can say, apparently. We then also have Chad and Orihime also catching the bug of not being able to say anything other than Ishida. I don't know why they're so shocked by this. Chad especially. Chad has this, glaring look in his eye. It's actually kind of freaky. He's actually emoting more than Chad usually does. He's freaking out Ishida, whoa, you're here. When it was funny because when Uryu first revealed himself as a member of the Vandenreich, wasn't Chad the one that was kind of slapping Ichigo back to his senses? faces. You know, he was grabbing him and tossing him into buildings. And, you know, like, I don't know why Uryu's doing that, but Uryu's clearly a smarter guy than any of us put together, so he's doing it for a good reason. We're gonna find him and we're gonna slap him out of it. And here he just seems like just as dumbstruck as Ichigo. Like, oh man, I knew he was an enemy, but I didn't think he was an actual enemy. Jeez, that was freaking me out, man. So Uryu doesn't do anything to really explain why he was there or not. He just states that don't any of you move a single step or I'm gonna fire.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be a problem for me.
I'm gonna do it. Don't you dare do it, Ichigo. I'm serious. I'm gonna shoot an arrow right through your fucking face. No, I'm gonna do it. Don't you do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay, yeah, let's keep it real, folks. You know, real talk. If Uryu had any real intentions on killing Ichigo here, I think he would be exerting a little bit more effort, aside from the fact he has some kind of unknown ability given to him by Yuha, and I know Yuha gave him the letter A, so, I mean, that's possible Uryu could have, you know, he could have the almighty power as well, but I don't like to think that. I like to think that it's a different power that designates the letter A, you know, kind of like how Yuha was fighting against Ichibei, and he bestowed the voice onto himself, so you have the voice, which was given to him, and then you also have the visionary power, which is what Gremmy had, so obviously he can bestow different powers on different letters, or maybe multiple powers from the same letter. So I think his power is going to be something different than that, but he's not doing anything more than just firing his regular Haley Pythiles at Ichigo in the group, so it's not like he has any intent to kill them in this chapter. So the conversation begins to escalate a little bit beyond just shouting each other's last names, and Ichigo asks him, don't you understand why we're here? Yes, you're here to protect the Soul King and stop Yuha. Okay, well don't you understand the entire world? Nay, every world is going to fall into disarray in the void unless we stop him? Yes, Ichigo, I'm aware of that. So why did you come here? Why are you standing on that side? It's because I am a Quincy. Cop-out answer, Uryu's the king of the cop-out answers. I mean, seriously, what kind of fucking sense does that? That's like if back in the 1940s, if somebody is a Nazi and you ask them, you know, why are you a Nazi? And they just answer, because I'm German. How does that make any fucking like, okay, he clearly has a reason beyond that. He just doesn't want to tell Ichigo, but that answer, it just, you know, all this, you know, these interrogation Ichigo's laying on him, and that's the best answer he can come up with. He's obviously hiding something else, and he's not going to tell Ichigo, if nothing else. Yeah, and also, I mean, I just want to go back to the whole line that Ichigo did say, which actually does make sense. Ichigo says, unless we stop Yuha, Soul Society, Hueco Dangai, you know, they all go, the living world, they all vanish, you know, and Uryu just kind of dismisses that, like, yeah, I already know that, but that's still a glaring issue, because, you know, if everything is gone, then where are you going to live? It's kind of hard to have your triumphant, you know, we did it, everybody, we stopped the Shinigami, if you're just residing in the void, you know? I mean, maybe the shadow dimension Silburn might still survive, but I'm viewing that as like a flip side of the Soul Society. Maybe it's a different, like, parallel dimension altogether that's completely separate from, like, all the other dimensions we've seen so far, but, I mean, it's a crucial issue that needs to be brought up, you know? It's the same thing why, you know, the Shinigami stopped the Quincy's to begin with, like, hundreds of years ago. They had to stop and kill the Quincy's because the Quincy's were disrupting the balance. You know, what's the deal with the Quincy's not caring about the, you know, the universe existing? It's like they just want to die. I don't get it. Maybe that might tie into something back later on when we get to like a flashback arc or something. I really hope it does, because basically the way it's set up here, all the Quincy's are just like chaotic evil that just want the world to be, you know, they don't want the world to exist. They just want the whole thing to burn. Everything. Everybody gone. Anyway, before we get a chance for Ichigo to respond to Uryu's claim, which I'm sure would have been a very poignant, cogent argument to rebuttal Uryu in this case, Ichigo. I'm sure you were about to say something really damn profound there, but before we get that, we have the other members of the elite Sternritter Guard show up. Sternritter M, Harold Valkyrie, carrying Perdina in tow, which I find hilarious, because it's like, you know, you see, you know, Perdina falling, and Harold's like, oh, it's cool, man, I gotcha. You know, just grab him, like, freaking by the arm and just land, you know, because apparently she forgot how to use its wings there, I don't know. We also have Askanak, Levar, and Lily Barrel also arrive on the scene as well. Oh, damn it, guys. Looks like we have a good old-fashioned Mexican standoff on our hands here. Hey, that's racist. Oh, I'm sorry, Chad. I forgot that you were here. How about a good old-fashioned Latin American standoff? I'm not American, you dumbass. How about you guys just be quiet and let's just say we have a good old-fashioned shut the fuck up and fight these guys kind of standoff. Can we have one of those? Damn it, guys. You didn't have to show up. I really don't need your help on this. And actually, where the hell did you even go? Like, after you took out the Zero Squad, you guys just kind of vanished. Oh, yeah. Well, I was sorry about that. It turns out that there's actually a Disneyland, like, right next door, so we went over there and hanged out there for a little bit.
Yeah, it was great. We got to ride the teacups.
Teacups were awesome, yeah. I got this Frozen t-shirt, and Askin got that Donald Duck hat.
Yeah, we also got to meet Snow White and 3 of the 7 dwarves. Lily shot the other 4 in the face, but, yeah, it was still a blast.
Damn it, that actually sounds like a lot of fun. Why didn't you take me? Yeah, you were kind of in the middle of something, so we didn't really feel like we should ask you. Oh, but we got you these Wally goggles. Okay, guys, seriously. Thank you. But yeah, Herald Valkyrie arrives, pulls out his claymore, and just basically is about to fight Ichigo himself, to which Uryu just tells him to stand back because he's got this himself. Schutzstaffel, which Schutzstaffel, by the way, is it's the SS, and, you know, the Nazi party, and the SS, you know, the Heinrich Himmler, those people. Yeah, so I guess it's funny because I just realized that because the Bleach universe, like at least the history of the living world is the same history as our world. So that means that the Nazi party did exist in the Bleach universe, that the SS did exist. So that's why Uryu can say Schutzstaffel. So I kind of find it funny that the Quincy's and the Nazis both existed in the same universe because it's easy to draw parallels between them, but they both did exist at the same time. So yeah, that's trippy, don't you think? Uryu then fires a volley of arrows at Ichigo. I don't know if it's his leaked Reagan technique or whatever, but he manages to hit the ground and Ichigo begins falling. Now, here's where things get a little bit confusing. Ichigo's falling from the Cocoon Palace down back toward the regular Soul Palace, and then we have Lily Barrow who pulls out his gun, points directly down at Ichigo, and it looks like he's about to fire, but then we have an arrow heading toward Ichigo instead, and then the arrow just kind of vanishes. Now, this is odd because Lily's barrel, get it? It's whatever. Lily's rifle never shot an arrow. He's always shot like that straight line, like laser beam sort of thing. So all the thing I can gather from this is that Lily shot his gun, Uryu fired an arrow, and blocked it. Because in this one scene where we see Ichigo falling down, there is no arrows. So I'm assuming that means that, you know, Ichigo didn't clearly get hit, or maybe he did. I have no idea. I'm going to assume he didn't. But then it's get confusing because then we have Uryu saying to Lily that, you know, okay, if they fall from this height, they're not going to be able to survive. Even if they did, there's no way they're going to be back up here. But even with that being the case, we should still just kill them now before there's any use for that subsequent contingency. That's what it means to serve His Majesty. From the way Uryu's saying that, it means that, you know, he shot and killed Ichigo. Like, but I didn't see an arrow going into Ichigo here. I didn't see anything hitting him. Everything just seems kind of just to disappear. You know, Kuba didn't really do a very good way. So, did Lily shoot Ichigo? Did Uryu stop Lily? Did Uryu shoot Ichigo also? I don't get it. But regardless, Herald Valkyrie appears and just says, oh, well, you know, whatever, new kid, you did a good job. You've earned my seal of approval. And Askin just kind of doesn't do anything this entire chapter. He's just kind of watching from the shadows. Anyway, then we cut back over to Yuha, who's finally taking out the Mimi Hage, stating that, oh, you wish to abandon your own child. You know, that's weird. I would consider the Mimi Hage more like Yuha's brother because they're both kind of children of the Soul King. I thought that's where they were going to go with this, but apparently not. I guess it's still the same part of the Soul King, so Yuha still views it that way anyway. Anyway, he succeeds in completely ripping off the Mimi Hage from the Soul King, and he begins to merge with it, stating that right now you are inferior to my power. I will receive your powers as my own. At the same time, we cut back down to the Soul Society, where the shaking begins to continue, notifying Urahara and the gang that there's still nothing. Wait a second. Why have you fuckers not left yet? Seriously, last time we saw you, you know, like 4 or 5 chapters ago, whatever, the freaking gateway seemed to be stabilizing. It looked all ready to go, and you guys are still standing there doing nothing. Like what the hell? How long do you have to wait for this damn gateway to stabilize? That's my question. Yeah, whatever. We cut back to Yuha, who states he's decided to take everything from the Soul King and make it his own. As we see that the Mimi Hage's eye symbols are now covering all of Yuha, I guess making it very clear that Yuha now has the power of the Mimi Hage. So, for those of you who are keeping track at home, in case you're curious how many powers the Kaiser of the Quincy's has, Yuha Bach, here's a helpful little reminder. Number 1, he has the power of the A, the Almighty, which basically gives him the ability to access every other power and see every power and disengage every power that he's ever faced with. So, right there, bit of an OP technique. But beyond that, he also has the power of Al-Swollen, his holy selection, which allows him to take the powers from other people and move them around as he sees fit to whoever else he sees fit. Along with that, he also has Yamamoto's Bankai, which hasn't even been mentioned this entire time since he took it from him, which, may I remind you, also contains 4 pretty damn OP techniques in and itself, including one to summon an entire fuck-off army of skeletons to do his bidding. On top of that, he also has all the advanced quisting techniques, all the loadouts of Blute, he has Sanct Bogan, he has all the Quincy spells he does, he has the freaking Sanct Altar thing, and on top of all this now, he now has the Mimi Hage Hage, which God knows what ability that'll give him. I can't think of... It's actually more difficult to think of powers that he doesn't have at this point than the ones he does. Because, I don't know, what's Mimi Hage gonna do? Give him the ability to have, I don't know, multiple shadow arms come out of him? Because, okay, but... that doesn't seem like something that was really boosting your power from the what you can win with. I mean, you're essentially God at this point. I mean... like, someone posted on my fan page that Ywach is becoming so much more arrogant now because he's a god, essentially. He doesn't need to care anymore, so his character's kind of all going on downhill. You know, and it's the same thing that happened with Aizen. When Aizen became, not even when he became a god, when he was in the Chrysalis stage and fighting Isshin, Urahara, and Yoruichi, I think he said a line like, you know, I don't need to be clever anymore. I don't need to think anymore because I'm God. My powers will take care of you guys for me. I don't even need to worry anymore. That's the vibe I'm getting here, seriously. Uryu and the Elite Stern Riders just kind of stare on as he states that let's leave the Seirete for the moment, and I'm going to take the Soul King and absorb him. So then he points his finger down, releasing the shadow, I guess, of the Mimi Hage that stretches directly downward to... where exactly? He says, let's leave the Seirete for the moment, and yet he's stretching a shadow directly down toward the Seirete. I don't know exactly what this means. I mean, I can assume he's maybe aiming for Uketake. That's the only person I can think of. But even with that being the case, I don't know. Maybe he's aiming for Ichigo, who also fell down. You know, that's a little confusing, too. Like, we know Ichigo and Yoruichi fell out of the tower. By the way, we have no idea what's up with Yoruichi. We didn't get any update on that. Are Gonju, Chad, and Orihime still in the tower? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming now they're going to take on the Stern Raiders. Like, that's finally going to be a team up there. I don't know. But I'm just curious about that. Like, where is everybody positioned at the moment? I mean, Uryu said Ichigo's not going to be able to survive the fall, so maybe one of the Zero Squad members down there, maybe Yoruichi survived and maybe he's going to cushion his fall somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I'm really confused here what Ywach's even doing. I mean, he was all ready to go to kill the Soul King, then he's just like, oh, well... let's do this instead now, guys. And then he does the shadow thing. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so that's the chapter. Basically, in summary, Ywach gets another massive power-up. Uryu does nothing to explain his reasonings for being there. Although I will say that Uryu probably did the whole knocking Ichigo out of the palace in order to save Ichigo from death, you know. Just kind of like how in One Piece, you know, Bartholomew Kuma sends all the Straw Hats away in order to save them. Kind of the same thing here with Uryu. He's just like, oh, I gotta save them without making me look like I'm saving them. But, you know, I don't really know if anything that, there's nothing Ichigo can do in terms of, like training in order to combat Bach. I mean, it's very clear in this, there's no way he's going to be able to fight him in, like, a fair fight at this point with all the fucking powers he has. I mean, I know we haven't seen Ichigo's full extent with his Shikai, his Quincy abilities, or his Bankai yet, but given all the shit Ywach has, I'm like... damn, like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Maybe, I just hope they don't pull out another Deus Ex Machina. I hope Ichigo doesn't be like, oh, I can do Final Getsuga Tensho again, except it's a better, improved version now that I have access to my Quincy powers. I'm like, I hope they don't do something like that, but anyway, yeah, that's my review. Thanks for watching, guys. Tekking signing out. Jeez, freaking OP characters, Kubo. Okay, bro, you're really gonna have to move. I gotta make a video. Move. 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 Move.